Bingo!
Bingo!
It's not like we're facing aliens from another planet because it is a big moment.
Did you know that ChatGPT uses enough energy in a single year to charge 3 million electric cars? To keep up with this demand, big tech are investing in nuclear power plants, but this comes with numerous concerns. My name is Niamh Ansell. I'm a journalist here at CyberNews, and with me this week are my colleagues, Ginteris Radauskas.
Hello.
And Jurgita Lapinita.
Hi, Niamh.
Hello.
It's interesting that you mentioned, and sometimes we don't understand because we use AI almost every day, and we think that all it takes is just to charge your computer or your any other smart device. But in fact, it does use so much energy because your prompts are being sent to like data centers and servers, right? And that's where, all the energy is actually needed. Mm-hmm. And also like a fun fact, right? ChatGPT and only ChatGPT, we know there are like way more large language models, right? It uses the amount of energy that would be enough to power Finland, right?
Wow.
Or Belgium for one day. So that, and it's just now, ChatGPT is turning 2 years old, I think next month.
Yeah.
Altman is thinking what to give it.
He's excited.
As a present, right? So just imagine where we're going to be like in 5 years in terms of energy consumption, right?
Yeah. If you want more, let's say, impressive examples, I don't know, because Finland and Belgium are quite small European countries.
But still, to power a whole country is wild.
Yeah, but take a country of Japan, let's say, with more than 100 million people, closer to the US by far than Finland or Belgium. And the International Energy Agency in January this year has calculated that because of this amazing confluence of let's say, events, the AI boom, the Bitcoin mining phenomenon, everything came together in recent years. And it says that the energy consumption associated with data centers, AI, and crypto altogether will equal the amount of energy used by the entire country of Japan in just a couple of years.
Wow. Also, we hear, right, that also from Altman and other guys that AI is going to solve, some medical research problems, climate change even. But when it comes to AI usage, it's pretty trivial, right? What we're using it for.
Sure.
Niamh, why don't you tell about the throuple drama?
Yeah.
It seems that AI has become a part of our relationships now, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I wrote an article on, essentially a throuple drama where a Redditor was complaining that his girlfriend was using ChatGPT to settle domestic disputes. So he wrote on the subreddit, "Am I the asshole?" Saying, "Am I the asshole for basically asking my girlfriend not to use ChatGPT whilst we're having arguments?" So this guy goes on, he says that he's 25, she's 28, and every time they have any kind of spat, he said that they had like big arguments in the past, but she's basically used ChatGPT to input all of the things that he said and then form a kind of concrete argument to then relay back to him. And he's saying that he doesn't want the opinions of a robot that only takes one side because she's prompting it. So it's obviously inherently biased. But it's just incredible.
Is she just quoting, reading out the ChatGPT's answers to him ad verbatim, or?
Yes, I quote. Okay, she said, "ChatGPT thinks you're insecure," or "ChatGPT thinks you don't have the emotional bandwidth to deal with this conversation."
But it's also not the only case, right?
Yes, on South Park. Stan, one of the episodes last year, I think, talks about how ChatGPT, dude, solve your relationship and your tests in school.
It actually worked for him in that case.
I mean, it's obviously not working for this person, but,
But it's quite common, I hear, right?
Yeah, it is quite common. More and more people are using ChatGPT for various reasons.
Yeah, but it's, like you said, and you said, it's very trivial.
Yeah, well,
and it doesn't really, in my head, justify all that need for finding how to make more energy.
No, exactly. And I can tell you some of the ways that people are using ChatGPT or any kind of large language model.
Can I guess?
Yeah, sure.
I don't actually know.
Sure.
I just guess. Solving conflicts.
Yeah.
Cheating.
What,
Well,
in relationships?
writing essays or not relationships.
Not
Let's
necessarily.
admit, ChatGPT is used en masse
Yeah,
for cheating or plagiarizing or whatever.
but that's a whole different debate. But we'll say writing text, yeah.
Writing text.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what the most popular use case could be. It's super simple. Not much different from what you've said.
Well, just searching, no? That's what I use it for.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I
what
use
I
it
use it
instead
for
of
too.
Google, just kind of getting summaries essentially.
Flirting.
Writing emails and sending text messages is the way people use large language models the most to reply to people, which I think is so interesting because it's like such a obviously with emails it's fine because if you're getting emails from, I don't know, PR people or like businesses, whatever, then it's fine to, do the cordial, informal, polite kind of message. But to send texts to your friends that you've written via ChatGPT is bizarre to me, but that's beside
then
the
again,
point.
if you want to sound more smarter to the other person, it doesn't even have to be like a potential romantic partner or whatnot. But seriously, a lot of people are now quite illiterate, aren't they? And ChatGPT helps them to be a bit more well-spoken.
Well, I mean, it's here, so it doesn't really matter. Just kind of showcases that we are using it for trivial reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yet
Yeah.
it's becoming a huge part of our lives. That's how I see it. So whether we like it or not, it doesn't matter. We'll get more and more messages, even like from friends and relatives, written by ChatGPT or other AI models. The integration is not that good at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it will get there soon.
Yeah. And I mean, ChatGPT so far has about 180 million users. So 180 million people are using it. And it's the same with Google Gemini. I couldn't find a complete stat on it, but it's anywhere between 140 million and 300 million people are using Gemini.
But then again, it depends. Are these stats for daily usage or
monthly usage?
so once a month maybe you try it out?
But still, that's quite a significant amount of people. And I think in the
1%
US, in the US, 55% of people are reported to use AI, and that could reach somewhere up to like 250 million people by 2030. I think could be using.
It will get there quite soon because now like every big tech company, not even big tech, like every company is testing, let's say, image generation models. They do need like more training and prompts are heavier in terms of energy usage, and I think everything is gonna become mainstream when those models and functionalities are integrated in the like tools, social media that we use already, right?
Yeah, like I mean, LinkedIn and stuff already has AI, and you can craft. It makes it even easier to craft those disgustingly putrid.
It gives you the
posts.
It gives you the prompt first, asking, do you want to write this or rewrite this with AI? And then you think, oh, why not? Maybe I would sound smarter or whatever. So we'll get there, and that just means we need more electricity here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. A single ChatGPT query needs 10 times as much energy as a simple Google search.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was said today, we just trivially play around on ChatGPT without maybe thinking. And I mean, it's not actually smart. I think even to expect from an average human on Earth in America or whatever to think about the consequences or costs, because that product is out there and it's the responsibility of the companies releasing them, at the same time pledging their like net zero or whatnot schemes, and the regulators and the governments to deal with the fact that it kind of creates and the boosts the needs of energy like I don't know how many times, and it's quite dangerous because If it goes on like this, I think we're well and truly f***ed as Earth. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's definitely not on us to kind of think every time you use something.
No,
exactly.
It's good to be mindful, but also it is essentially in the hands of those people that you named.
It is the new reality, and they are like rushing and trying to solve some of the issues that they will run into like real quick, right? And if we will get to that future that Altman promises, right? He envisions AI being used everywhere.
Yes.
And it could be, you know, and we see increased usage, like let's say in medical care, right, in science research, and they need way more energy than our like single funny prompts. Also, you know, like if we use it every day, we'll need, as he said, abundant energy, right? So that everyone can benefit. Or it stays the tool for the rich, meaning maybe not people, because we all can use that, but let's say research organizations or smaller businesses that actually do need to pay for those tools, right, to use them properly, because they need functionality, they need some certain customization and whatnot. So if we get to that reality where AI is everywhere and used for everything, then we need abundant energy as well, which is troublesome, right, when we talk about the environment here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, just you quoted Altman. I'm gonna get to Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, and I found his very recent quote, which sounded a bit fatalistic to me, but I do suspect he might be not wrong. Let's say he said, like, we're not going to hit the climate goals anyway. So I'd rather bet on AI solving the problem. And there was also...
What does that mean?
Solving the problem is what that,
solving the climate crisis.
Well, helping to solve the climate crisis, because there's a bunch of things that we have as a humanity to do as well, like, changing our lifestyles or making the switch.
Yeah, but that's a very, very small part of...
Something that's not going to happen also, because the technology is here, everyone wants to use it, and they will use it because there's a commercial backing behind it and all these guys, meaning there's going to be an increased consumption of energy and everything. So you flying less or
driving
less,
flying
less wouldn't change a thing here, right? So what AI can do and what scientists can do with AI, come up with some, solutions, how to use that same or different technology or chemistry or like physics to kind of fight that climate change, have protections in place in that case, right?
Yeah.
Because it can compute way faster and can just, give you the solution in less amount of time than science can give you now, right? So it's just gonna speed up the scientific research, meaning we might actually have the solutions to the climate change problem in the near future with the AI models in place.
Yeah, exactly. And this guy at NVIDIA, which is probably the most energy-hungry company right now in the AI world, with the data centers and chips and all that.
It's gonna be starving soon.
Yeah. But I mean, again, but like you say, it is maybe going to starve unless AI helps them to find a solution to the problem faster than it becomes feeling hungry,
Yeah.
So, I mean, this guy said that, again, it's not AI is not only a problem but also a solution. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because it is an awkward spot for most of these tech companies. For years they've been claiming that we're so climate friendly, and there was this investigation by The Guardian just recently that actually the emissions are 662% higher than they officially claim. That's a lot. But but what do they do now? They talk the talk, of course, but do they walk the walk? Who knows, because they are kind of playing with numbers. But at the same, do they increase profits? Because all companies seek that. Or do they lower emissions? You can't do both right now. So you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Well, it's more of a face, isn't it?
It is a face, and I'm kind of inclined to agree with this guy in NVIDIA that maybe there's not enough understanding just now, when we're only at the beginning of this AI boom, that AI might be going to help us innovate our way to this net zero future, because there's been already movement in this front. I mean, yes, Nvidia, needs to talk about that, of course, but for instance, they helped Foxconn, which is a huge company having to do with the iPhone building.
Yes.
They helped them to use AI to design a new factory, which reduces energy demands by 30% of that factory. That 30% is not a small number. And also, these chips, the AI chips, we keep hearing about another generation of these chips, and they will eventually maybe able to break down the most complete tasks that are requiring a lot of energy today, but they might require a lot less energy tomorrow. So ultimately, a possibility should stay in our minds that AI might help us reach our climate-friendly goals.
And there are various ways that they're doing that currently. Currently, the AI models are being used to predict weather, changes in extreme weather. Like Microsoft's Aurora model was basically predicting, the weather to make sure that we are more ready for extreme weather conditions. There's also researchers in Germany said that basically AI can successfully feed information to AI and they can give you more accurate weather depictions. People measuring and tracking icebergs, so that's really important because obviously icebergs melt, the water goes into other sources, and this can be hazardous for many reasons.
Yeah, but it doesn't help.
But
it doesn't stop the melting, does it?
Yeah, but if we understand more about what's going on, then potentially we find a solution why.
It doesn't have to be stopping the melting. It can be, building a civilization which would be okay with the increased temperatures, right? Mm-hmm. But what type of energy is net zero carbon emissions?
No.
Nuclear.
Aha.
Also renewables, but fine.
AI can also help with nuclear fission.
Renewables are not sustainable. That's why we're won't gonna be talking about them here. Which again, big tech companies were big on renewables investment in the past, but now they kind of all are coming and saying, okay, we're gonna invest in nuclear because it's clean. There's a quite few problems here, but before we go into this, maybe Gintaras, you can catch us on this, what's been going on recently. Every big tech company, right, is suddenly investing. Nuclear renaissance is kind of happening now.
Google, I know, has been.
Yeah, Google, Amazon, you name it, and I'm pretty sure in the next few months we're gonna hear more and more. Maybe next year, because these first few experiments, so to speak, they have to succeed in order for others to follow the examples, so to speak. But so you mentioned renewables. Yes, previously the big tech companies and all sorts of companies.
And when you say renewables,
wind and solar.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So they don't contribute to climate change and emissions. I have solar panels myself, but that's individual contribution. That's so. But they're not
killing the birds.
Well, they don't work as a solution for big tech companies now because the energy consumption levels have increased so dramatically.
So they can't, if I understand, renewable energy isn't sustainable because it can't sustain the amount of energy we need at this point in time.
It's not also stable because, you can't have enough wind.
Can't rely on the
all
weather.
Year round. Yeah, and the sun is not always shining.
There's a whole
definitely not here.
There's a whole technology here, right? And every country kind of balances its power, right? So there has to be a basis where some source of energy where would be sustainable. So it could be nuclear, still coal in some countries, right? But something that is sustainable all the time. It gives you production, and then on top of that, they do forecast. Let's say in summer they can expect to get more power from the sun, or in spring they could get more power from the wind and all that. But you can't rely on them, right?
So renewable energy is seen as a kind of supplement to whatever
it's just always is just a supplement. It can make up the lion's share of any countries, all regions. It depends, but it can't make the lion's share
but
of
nuclear
energy.
can.
nuclear can, and it is the lion's share. Let's say in France, 65% of energy comes from nuclear power plants. Sustainable, clean, the problem with the recycling and all that. We'll get to that that a bit later.
And when you say like clean, what does it mean?
No like it's not burning anything.
Ah,
you see?
okay.
If you burn coal, you get CO2, hurts, the atmosphere. With nuclear, there's just, reaction inside.
And that's okay, got you.
Yeah. I mean,
no emissions.
Yeah, natural
amazing.
gas, coal. I mean, all that is contributing massively to emissions worldwide. Actually, I mean, tell that to the Chinese or the Indians.
Then why do I think that nuclear energy is scary? Because that's what's in my mind.
You ask the question, now you answer. Why is it scary?
Yeah.
I don't know, because it sounds great. Like, it sounds, if it's clean energy, it's, obviously recycling.
So what have you heard during your life that it makes you scared?
Catastrophes with nuclear power plants. And I think that's what makes it scary.
Which ones?
Don't know, but I've heard of them.
Amazing.
Big ones?
Yeah,
Chernobyl,
Chernobyl,
Okay.
Fukushima, for...
There
hasn't been many.
No, but I guess when
earthquake in Japan, Chernobyl, quite a different array of problems there.
Because I understand that, like, nuclear energy, it can be volatile, or it can be... It needs to be stored and kept and treated in a particular kind of way.
Can I tell? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You store waste, and it can stay radioactive for thousands of years, in short. So that's kind of tricky, I guess. But you can store them safely, so that's another angle. But what happened now, what is happening now with nuclear power and big tech is that after, again, years of trying to invest in renewables and then seeing that it's not actually working for us in the long term, they see these headlines, and I've seen them, like, a coal plant is opening up in one or another U.S. state, or, in West Virginia, these coal mines, we have to keep them open because we need energy. Yeah, who cares that it's coal? Well, it turns out a lot of these companies have made pledges to care. And now that they maybe don't, it's not a good look. So they are frantically really looking for ways to get more energy from somewhere better looking, area sources like nuclear power. So Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, doesn't matter in what order, they have recently struck deals with operators and developers of nuclear power plants to fuel these booms in data centers that, again, are needed for AI power to grow. So Microsoft signed a deal to revive a reactor at 3 Mile Island, of all places, of Netflix fame. There was a documentary on Netflix about the incident in 1979.
Did something not happen with that? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there was an incident in 1979. It wasn't huge. There was no pollution, very little amount of pollution released into the air. And yes, the locals are now up in arms, and they're gonna fight the project. I don't know whether they will succeed, but that's interesting. Then Google and Amazon again investing in small modular nuclear reactors by startups. That's interesting, and I think Jurgita will tell us more about those. So I mean, they don't emit greenhouse gases, so that's an argument for the big tech to do that. And the Biden administration right now, the Democrats in general, they have also kind of changed their stance on nuclear power lately, because they are actually seeing that if maybe you can do it safely, then that's the way to go to reduce dependence from to oil powers in the Middle East and all that. You can do less fracking as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Also, Sam Altman has invested in 3 startups that deal with nuclear power plants. Oklo is one of them, and this one is a very interesting company. They are now researching the area where they could build the first microreactor, or what Gintaras called small modular nuclear reactors. It's the same as like big nuclear power plant, but small, transportable, like way easier to install, because big nuclear reactors, they take so much time and money to build. And interestingly, these startups, well, they are all the ones you mentioned, they are all working with these micro reactors, because they want to like kind of do it fast. But the Oklo that I mentioned in Idaho, they are like will be using recycling nuclear fuel, which is very interesting here. And I can tell you about why actually nuclear energy is scary, right?
Yeah.
It's not because of the disasters. They don't happen that much anymore, especially if we're not talking about like old post-Soviet country reactors that are really built now in a questionable way, and most of the reactors were decommissioned right by now. So like the disasters, they're, I think, unless maybe like you are in an earthquake zone as Fukushima was, it's not wise, it's scary. So now there's uranium and plutonium used in the nuclear power plants, right? Those kind of cassettes, however you call them, they are used 5 to 7 years. It depends, but then after just 5 to 7 years, they need to be decommissioned. They are still highly radioactive. They won't decay for hundreds of thousands of years, whatever, like hard to imagine. That long. And the way we've been decommissioning these cassettes like uranium and plutonium up until now is mostly they would take them out, put them in the pool for another 5 to 7 years to cool them off, and then kind of there's a whole big process there, but essentially they would encapsulate them, put them in cement or bitumen or just kind of some sort of isolation, put them into some underground shelter, which can hold only for 50 to 60 years. So we kind of, by decommissioning nuclear fuel now, used one, we are just delaying the problem by 50 to 60 years. What happens then, especially if we are planning to build more and more, reactors, even if they are micro reactors, you would think that just because they are like, let's say 100 times smaller than the usual ones, they would have like less problems and less fuel, but that would be wrong. Actually, they are like even more radioactive, and they have bigger decommissioning problems. It's just because they are smaller and they need more enriched uranium, which is not in commercial usage. Like there's not one single such reactor which would stand now. Like there are, the first one was built by the U.S. government in something like 1955, but then just because it uses like enriched uranium, which is dangerous, there's national security questions here. It's not allowed for commercial use essentially.
And I wanted to ask, maybe this can't be answered, but you mentioned that they're in like cassettes or whatever. How much energy does a cassette have? Is it, are we able to tell, or?
Yes, we are able. So essentially, when they start using the nuclear fuel, the reactions of atoms are very, very quick, very fast, efficient, and it does work for like 5 to 7 years. It depends on the reactor. But after that, like the reactions do slow down, and they need to decommission that. But the problem is that they still, like those cassettes, they still have approximately 90% of the energy left in them when we decommission them.
What a
right?
waste.
Yeah, so essentially that's just like putting, I don't know, like gold or diamonds to rest, right? While it's still very
valuable, yeah.
And there's not much recycling of that going on because it's terribly expensive and dangerous. European Union actually has recently banned the exports of any decommissioned fuel and cassettes because it's dangerous. And why is it dangerous? Because it has uranium and plutonium. Uranium, one thing, plutonium used in the atomic bombs. There's such one such case when the plutonium was actually used like from the decommissioned kind of cassette. It was used to make an atomic bomb, right? So you can't really put that away. I watched this documentary about Orano company in France. Because they do depend highly on nuclear energy, and they are like the only ones that actually recycle that fuel. And so they kind of course, they do the cooling down, the whole, tearing apart of those cassettes and whatnot, and they transport plutonium through the country with the army as well, because they need protection for that, and they transport it to another secret facility where they work with that plutonium, turn into another sort of fuel. They call it MOX, I think, and then they use that MOX and again to for energy production, and approximately 10% of France energy production comes from that recycled fuel there. And the Oklo Altman's back company will do some sort of recycling, and that's a huge problem, right? If we will have more of such cassettes and whatnot, we will need to think more about recycling, because up until now the decommissioning of that fuel, it has been essentially just burying it into the ground.
Okay, my question is this, again, it's related to AI being the problem and the solution, and in this case nuclear micro reactors, or like these modular reactors, are being planned, and maybe they might be built, or old nuclear plants might be revived, and nuclear energy is made, and maybe then AI could think of a way to safely transport these cassettes or whatnot to the most radioactive planet out there in about 50 or 100 years. Jupiter is the one. Just fly them out there, bury that on the ground right there, or just dump them and save Earth.
Oh, but all the utopians.
I don't know.
Be
Of course, it's not smart what I'm saying, but whatever solution might possibly be found, not burying the waste underground
for
here.
For sure, we can hope, but also, as we see from the example of this company in France, there are already ways to deal with that. Of course, it's expensive, but then it has some government backing, right? And we need kind of public-private partnerships here, right? If the company has a solution, but it's not commercially viable to recycle that fuel, there probably should be some, government state backing here, so that, because there are some ways we can deal with it now.
Yeah, or regulation. No, but
Bingo!
but I'm serious. I mean, this is not data, or whatever. I mean, we should care about data protection and privacy and all that, but an average person doesn't. But nuclear stuff, like Neve, is scared, and people around 3 Mile Island, around Chernobyl in Ukraine and Belarus, or wherever, they're gonna be scared of nuclear stuff. Just like they're scared of fracking in certain states in Pennsylvania or whatnot. And they will demand, and the government will surely as well demand, that there's safety procedures being followed, there's regulations being followed, especially with related to nuclear waste.
You sound a bit like Altman, this is...
Thank you.
All but a distraction. AI will come and will solve it all.
I didn't say that just now. I'm just saying that...
I was reacting to what you said before.
Yeah, with a delay.
All the regulation is also kind of lagging all the time.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that this issue might just feel important enough for the government to react quickly. because nuclear. This just is a trendy word. It's
I don't know. I
nuclear.
think there's a hype around nuclear these days as well. And if
Well, yeah, it's all a hype, isn't it? Like renewable energy was a big old hyped up thing, and now we realize that it's not that
I think
sustainable.
it's very
but-
short-sighted the way everyone is jumping on any train. Now people remember that nuclear is clean energy. Yes, we've known this for like decades.
But
so
there
what
are problems.
Yeah, and the issue also in the wider debate about nuclear is that we have to remember that nuclear is a competitor to natural gas giants around the world, and they have been lobbying against nuclear for ages in the States,
Maybe
in Europe,
that's
and
why
everywhere.
I think it's scary, because I've been manipulated by big
By-
coal.
Yes, big coal, yeah,
coal
big
into
oil and big
believing
coal, yeah.
That it's not the best way to go about things. But it sounds amazing to me.
The best way is renewables. It's the most conscience free, but
it kills the birds.
Yes. Planes get distracted by its big. No, I'm kidding.
does it kill humans though? No.
I'm sure it has.
Like
A few Florida men, probably
of course.
decapitated by a windmill or whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, windmill. We
Windmill.
call it.
Ah, yes. I was thinking of those Germanic Dutch windmills, but anyway.
I've also read that the nuclear reactors, the micro ones, will still be more expensive than other ways to generate energy. But then again, the big tech companies are very rich,
Yeah,
so they can
so-
afford. I think Microsoft is going to be paying twice the market price for the energy produced at 3 Mile Island. So.
Oh yeah, it's not about cheap energy at this point. It's about available energy, right? Because soon, and why I said Nvidia will go hungry, right? Because what we're lacking now is chips. Well, okay, Nvidia is producing chips, but when we have even bigger data centers, when we have like quantum computing, like where's all the power
Coming
coming
from,
from,
yeah.
right? So you will have all the chips, all the servers, whatnot, all the technology, but it needs to eat, right? It can't be starving then.
Well,
Think the boom.
the Matrix had a solution. Didn't it?
What did the Matrix do? I've never seen it.
Suck the energy from you.
Aha!
That's it. One more thing, a little bit not related to nuclear, but anyway, is there are other ways to produce energy, but I found this idea by Nvidia again very interesting, that Nvidia and other companies are looking to putting data centers, again used to train AI models, close to remote energy sources such as hydroelectric or geothermal facilities. In that way, because this guy again, Nvidia's chief executive Jensen Huang, he said last month that it's important to realize that AI doesn't care what it learns, where it is being trained. And actually, AI training is just you train the AI and it doesn't need to be trained anymore. Well, it does, but it doesn't require that much energy use after the first, let's say, session of training. But he said that we can build data centers near where there's excess energy, and use the energy there. So again, this one example of how to make it more efficient, the whole process. So I do think that there's solutions out there, nuclear or not, but again, maybe I would personally attempt to believe in the power of humans to think of solutions and not only of their greed. We are actually in this point where a lot of roads are crossing, really. I mean, AI boom, like I said, the Bitcoin thing, I think it's going to go away, but still it's using a lot of energy and all that. AI as well. EV revolution is happening.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of energy use, so a lot of things are coming together, like over these 5 or 10 years, 5 years in the past and 5 years, let's say, in the future. This decade of this is happening right now. And I think this is the moment where companies and governments and us are looking how to move forward, and what's the state of play now, and what's the state of play going to look like in 5 or 10 years. And without these discussions, we're not going to move forward. So I think it's good that it's happening, and I think it's good that Sam Altman is using these, big words, because it is a big moment. It's not like we're facing aliens from another planet, but it is actually, I think, a huge turning point, because the way we live might soon change, really. Not only because of AI, but also because of the planet burning, and the urgent need to find solutions to that. So this is to embrace it.
I think it's just acceleration of things. We used
I agree.
to think that we have it all figured it out, right? Like the energy strategies and whatnot. We turned our backs to nuclear. Renewable energy was such a hype for quite a time. Now we understand that, okay, let's give it a rest. We're not going to use less energy. We might, have better light bulbs or, more efficient computers, but that's not what we need energy for. What we need is for like next revolution or evolution, whatever. And it's like really hungry, and we need to feed it if we want to like take a step forward as a humanity. And it's happening. It might be scary at times, and it's gonna be scary for communities, who will see like new nuclear power plants pop up next to their homes, right? But we'll have to make our peace with it.
Yeah. For decades, and I mean, I of course I do support the calls for humans becoming less consuming, let's say, but it's not gonna happen.
No,
there are more and more humans every day. So if anything, we should just produce less people, I guess. Because
that's kind of what's happening, no?
Well, naturally or not, but it is happening, and
not
maybe
worldwide.
that's for the good. Not worldwide,
but in certain areas.
Did you know that in Gaza during the year of this crisis out there, more people were born than died, even with all the deaths. So I mean, it's probably not a tasty example or whatnot, but still, I mean, there are a lot of births in the world, and people are a problem as well. So I don't know. We've been hearing for decades how we have to be more climate friendly, and because we're gonna. I think I would not be wrong by saying that this is like a transformative moment when, let's say, big businesses and big governments will realize, nah, it's not gonna happen. We have to find solutions to live with this, and maybe AI and technology in general will help us do that, because we're not going to fly to Mars. We're not going to live on the moon. So let's figure it out.
We might.
And AI and technology.
We might.
I'm sure.
Well, I'm not.
I'm definitely not doing that. But yeah.
Okay.
So great. Thank you guys for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode, leave us a comment. Tell us how much you use AI, and make sure you like and subscribe. See ya.